thought it would be fun to introduce her. Hey, this is Harper. I know it's not technically time to start, so I won't officially start yet. Okay. Make sure my mic, everyone can hear me. I'll just sit here awkwardly for the next 30 seconds before it's official. Trying to see if I can find the other cat. I probably don't have time to go look for her. Okay, I'm actually gonna turn on my computer screen so I can see the time. Okay. Hey guys. Hi. Thanks for coming to my live. Actually, you know what? I just started that too early. It is still 2:59 according to my clock, so we'll still wait. Looks like a few more people just popped on. I'm glad the links are working. Oh my gosh, that was a rough first few lives as I dove into the pool and learned a lot as I went. So right now we have the better mic going. We still do have my phone, but I do have some exciting things coming up that I want to talk to you guys about, some new developments. I am gonna need a pen so I can take notes. If I forget something. Okay, so it's 3 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and start. Welcome everyone to my live. I took 1 week, 2 weeks of a break. I can't remember. I'm sure you saw that it's been a rough couple weeks here, and so I wanted to go into that a little bit. I think that's important to talk about, that it's not all with really anything valuable in life. It's not always pleasant. It's not always fun. It's not always inspiring. You're not always jumping out of bed excited. Connor and I were talking about that yesterday, how with marriage, you're not always excited to be married to that person. With a job that you love, you might not always be excited to get on and be online or go into the office, whatever. And the same is true for home restoration. As much as you might love a home, it's not always just this inspiring, busted out thing that you might see in TikTok. But of course, that's like what, a 60-second clip. So anyways, but I'll start this like we normally do. What are you sipping? What are you reading? And then maybe what are you listening to? Let's throw that in this week. So I am still plugging away through Outlander. I haven't made as much progress since last time. Just been more mentally tired, so I've done less reading. And then we started Little House in the Big Woods with Felicity. We've actually started it twice in her little life, but we never got through it because either we moved and it got packed, or she was a little young to really be grasping it. I think I tried this when she was 2.5. What a first child thing to do. And then the other one I'm reading is the Nourishing Traditions book of baby and child care. So I got this for Felicity, but also to help me. We're wanting to expand our family sometime in the next year, and so I just want to be ready. So I've had 2 pregnancies. I had Felicity, and I actually placed a little one for adoption when I was 20. Yeah, because I was 19 when I got pregnant and 20. So I placed a little one for adoption, and both pregnancies were really difficult, and deliveries were not great, and postpartum was horrible. So I'm just trying to have it not be so horrible this time. So maybe this book will help me. So, and then I'm just sipping water, but out of a mug that my sister gave me. And then a song I've been listening to that's been inspiring me is You and Me on the Rock by Brandy Carlisle. So if you haven't heard it, listen to it. It's so good. So tell me, what are you guys sipping? What are you reading? What are you listening to? That kind of thing. And I'll hop into the chat. I wish they made the chat easier to see. Okay, maybe I just set it up in a way where it's easier for me. Debbie said, I'm listening to Ennio Morricone's music from The Mission. Oh, beautiful. Oh my gosh. That soundtrack gets you so emotive so quickly. It's incredible. I watched that excuse me. I watched that film for let me see, I think it was a film class or a history class in college, and I get tears in my eyes every time I start listening to that music. It's so good. Actually, I'm going to put that in my notes, since I'm always looking for nice calm music for the morning, and that would be a good one. This morning we were listening to some Bach. Okay. I just watched the movie last night. Was it your first time, or were you watching it again, Debbie? Connor might really enjoy that, but it is sad. It is a really sad one. I've got something white right there. First time. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're probably still heartsick. Sorry guys, that probably didn't sound good on the mic. You're probably still so heartsick. So, I have had comments from at least one person saying that when they came to the live chat, they weren't able to type in anything. It was just like they were able to watch it. And I think the problem might be you need to have an account, a YouTube account. So it's not something you pay for. You just put in your email and all that. You can decide what kind of notifications you get. I don't think I get any with my YouTube account. I don't want them to email me every time somebody has a video. But you can if you want that. So that might be what's going on if you're not able to send a chat and interact. Yeah, that didn't work with the chat for me. But I've loved the music for a long time. Yeah, it's just so good. It's a beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. So if nobody else is sipping anything or reading anything or listening to anything, maybe I'll just kind of jump in. I am a pretty open book, so if you have any questions, even if you're like, oh, that might be awkward, that might be too much, that might be too deep, I'll let you know if I'm not comfortable answering the question. But I think it's important for people to hear the more difficult parts of life, because that's how we support each other. I think a lot has been lost as we've decided to live in this culture of only showing the positive for the most part, or carefully curated ugly. So feel free. I'll just kind of tell you what's been going on these past couple weeks, why it's been difficult, and hop in, ask me questions. And like I said, I'll let you know if it's more personal than I want to get. Deborah, sipping plain water, reading Where the Crawdads Sing. Almost done, love it, but I'm at the really hard part. Oh. Okay. Well, that means I got my mom Where the Crawdads Sing for Christmas, with the added gift of, because I know my mom and I know that quality time is important, with the added gift of, I want to talk to you about this book when you're done. So I'm really excited that she's almost done, because we get to talk about it. But ooh, the hard part. It's a beautiful book. Okay, so where to start? These past couple weeks, I have a lot of thoughts. These past couple weeks have been difficult for a plethora of reasons. And let's just jump in. They might not be chronological, but I can already feel it in my chest. It's emotional. So like, rarely do you go chronologically when you're speaking emotively. They have been difficult because, like I said, our contractor had to fire his helper because he was unethical, and just not a great person to, if you like a worker that works. So he had to let him go. Our contractor is Amish, and I know there's different levels of how do I say it? Like basically different levels of Amish and Mennonite in your level of interaction with technology. And so our contractor does own a truck, but he does not drive. So he was running into the issue where his worker was let go, and he usually has the worker come pick him up from work. They drive together in his truck and then go home. And so that was an issue. In his area, there are quite a few Amish, and so there's actually a little sub-economy of Amish drivers. So a lot of times it's retired persons who just want to make a little bit of extra money, and they will drive Amish people. So for example, when our contractor goes to visit his family in another state, they hire a driver to take them. And so he was having to hire a driver to come to work here, which cost him money, significant. But also it was kind of unreliable because sometimes people would say they would be there and then they just wouldn't show up. And because there's quite a few Amish, there's competition too. So if this other Amish is paying more, then you're gonna drive that Amish person, you know? So anyways, long story short, unreliable transportation for our contractor. And that's difficult because work wasn't getting done as well here, and we could see it in our contractor, and he said it, he was going nuts, poor guy. He didn't know if he was going to have a ride. There was a loss of him feeling control at all with his work, and that does nobody any good. So Connor and I sat down, and I'm good at getting to the root of issues usually. And I sat down and coming with solutions. That's the big thing. I'm good at coming up with solutions and just brainstorming like crazy. I'll blame that on probably my dad. He had fun. Like, let's just brainstorm. You don't have to choose an option, just brainstorm. So we were sitting down and I was like, what about this? Okay, what's the issue? The issue is there is no reliability, both for our contractor and for us, for when work is going to get done. What if we drive him? What if we do that? Because we are highly motivated to make sure he is here, and it will require quite a bit from us, but is it worth it to us to go ahead and offer to drive him? And then if he ends up being able to hire somebody else, if he has a driver that's really reliable, part of the issue too with having a driver is the driver would come, but they weren't a worker. So then he would be paying them hourly for them to just sit around essentially and then drive him home. So it also had another layer where part of the way that we have been able to afford this is working out with our contractor some work that we could do. So for example, there's electrical conduit in the basement. Does our contractor need to spend his time painting that to the bronze color that I like? No, that's something I can do. So us doing things like that was able to bring our costs down. So us offering to drive is another way that we're being able to work with our contractor on price. So we decided that it was worth it to us, but that puts a strain on us. It puts quite a strain. Our contractor lives about an hour away. So Connor has now taken on, I say that he can put it on his resume now, he is a part-time Amish driver. So Connor now has 4 hours of his day that have been allocated elsewhere. It does kind of work out because Connor leaves the house at 5:30. He gets back here at 7:30, which with him working from home and us being tired parents, sometimes we wouldn't start our day till 8:30. So honestly, it has been getting us going earlier. But then Connor leaves at whatever time and it takes him 2 hours to get back. He's also more tired because he's waking up so early, so he's not able to help in the house as much. I've been trying to look and figure out how I can be supportive as a wife with him taking that on. So we had, for example, our laundry split, and he would do household linens and his laundry, and I would do our daughter's laundry and my laundry. And I decided that I would take on all of it in order to lighten his load a little bit. And that was just one other thing that's a strain on us. So that's been a big part of what's been difficult. But it has been nice because we are highly motivated. So our contractor is here every day that he can be. There might be one day a week that he's not, so he can go work on another project or finish things at home. But other than that, he's here. The other aspect that has made this really difficult is energy. And it's not energy in the sense where you can caffeinate and be fine or just get extra sleep. It's been an interesting thing that I've been trying to figure out, like, why are we so drained? And there's quite a few reasons to that, of course. Driving, at least for Connor and I, is quite exhausting. We've realized as we've gotten older. But also mentally, it's exhausting and overwhelming when everywhere, I'm looking as I'm saying this, everywhere you look is a project. My brilliant mother, her advice to me as I've moved, I think we've moved, this is our 14th move in our 5-year marriage, is have one space be beautiful and organized and a place where your eyes can rest. And me being the most wonderful daughter that I am, I've listened to that. And so I have my China hutch that's actually my tea cabinet. So it has all our bulk teas and herbs and all of that. And it's a beautiful, peaceful place to look. Currently needs to be dusted. But that is truly the only place in this whole house that our eyes can rest. And this is 3,800 square feet or more. I think we haven't sat down to do the math to know if that includes the basement or not. But the past couple days, Connor and I have been talking about that and realizing we look at the wall and we see a project because every single surface here needs to be painted, whether it's trim, whether it's the wall. You rest your eyes on a windowsill, it needs to be replaced or scraped and painted. And some of the projects, luckily, we can look at and know that we aren't having to do all of them. Our contractor is doing it, but still, it's something that needs to be done. Yeah, and that's difficult. Another thing that has been a strain is that, shocker, daily life does not stop just because you are restoring a home. You know, your 4-year-old still needs your love and attention, especially we're homeschooling. So I'm not taking her to a preschool or a daycare where she's getting that interaction and all of that. I need to facilitate that. I need to facilitate play dates and things like that. We also, the way we eat makes it a little bit more complicated where we try to shop local for our meat, for our dairy, that kind of thing. We actually do have some food sensitivities that kind of require it. And we live far out. So the fastest trip to a true grocery store would be 30 minutes away. So yeah, that puts a strain, and we're just figuring that out. So yeah. And it's, yeah, the dishes still pile up. So I've just been trying to figure out what hills do I want to die on during this time? What do I need to give up? What doesn't require my energy? So some of these might seem silly to some, but I really love having a fully set table. I love having the plate, the bowl. I don't set a bowl, I guess, if we don't need it, but we do knives, forks, and spoons. We do like a nice glass, all of that. And I just realized this week, after being drowning in dishes all week, this is stupid. This is so stupid. I have plenty of my life to be able to teach my children how to set a table and what a wonderfully set table looks like. I thank my parents for teaching us that. And I realized now's not the season for that. If we only need forks, we're only eating with forks, because it is one less thing for us to have to wash and deal with. I am probably adding a bunch of paper plates to my Azure order for this month, and cups and things like that. I love to not waste, but I'm realizing this is not the season to focus on that, and I'm not causing all the waste in this world. So paper plates on Sunday. Yeah, it might be that let me switch that, Mom. I think what it's going to be is paper plates every day except for Sunday. So, or maybe like paper plates for every meal except for dinner or something. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing some very purposeful things like that. So let me hop on the chat. Mom said, sounds like Christmas will be a working vacay. Oh my gosh, I don't want to like put you guys through that, but I mean, I will never turn down help. And Little House on the Prairie takes on a whole new perspective. It does. Some of the things too is, like I said, the normal life. Our normal life involves teaching Felicity to be self-sufficient and teaching her skills as part of her homeschool education. And so, for example, today we made butter. We had a huge amount of cream from the local milk that we got, and I am not willing to pay the butter prices. So I decided to make it ourselves. Well, that was a process, and we actually, I've been trying to cut down our food budget to make room for something exciting that I want to tell you guys about. I don't mean this to be negative. I'm just wanting this to be really honest. Something exciting that we're making room for in the food budget is I am paying Angela with Parisienne Farmgirl. She's an awesome YouTuber if you want to go look. And she runs the Old World Design Society. Actually, I have one of her magazines right here. You might want to look that up, guys. I'll put it in the description below. I don't get any sort of kickback on it. I'm just letting you know. I am going to be hiring her to help me figure out paint colors in this house. I want to do it right. I have a lot of surfaces to paint, and I want to do it once, and I want to do it right. And her husband was actually a professional painter before she was able to retire her husband through her businesses. So she has a lot of knowledge about how do the professional painters do things more quickly and make it look great. We can go over today, guys. Connor's working outside. I'm in a dress and all dressed up, and I've been busting out today, so I don't mind sitting here and talking longer if people want. But anyways, I've been making some room in the budget. So, for example, one thing I did was when I was in Columbus, I went to our favorite farm, and I got a massive bag of beef fat, just huge bag for $20. And so all yesterday I was rendering it down to tallow, and I saved us at least $16. So I've been trying to do things like that take more time to save us money, but there's a trade-off. So it's a balancing act. Deborah, be sure to save the whey. It is very useful. Yes. Yeah. So, isn't the whey from cheese? Is it buttermilk that it separates from? But either way, yeah, that is being saved. Felicity drank a big cup of it as I was making it, and of the buttermilk, and then we're planning on using it for biscuits or pancakes or such. And then Debbie, love, you'll get some help figuring out colors. Yeah, it feels like such a luxury, and it is, and I'm so thankful to Connor for not making me feel a fool for it at all. He's completely supportive of that, and it's actually, her pricing is completely reasonable. Many of you know I'm actually an interior decorator on the side, and so I felt kind of funny, but she has 20 years on me, and I know that the service that I provide is valuable. And so somebody that's been doing this for 20 more years than me, and has the combination of her husband having been a professional painter, I think that is a worthy investment. So, if you guys need help with anything like that, she is available. And later on, I might hire her to help me with more specific projects, like designing our master bedroom or something like that. But that's future. Deborah, true, the liquid from butter is called buttermilk. My mistake. You may need to add a little vinegar to use it like commercial buttermilk. Yeah, we've just been drinking the buttermilk. It's so good. I give a little bit to the animals. They love me. Debbie, you will thank yourself every day for that help. Oh, thanks for the support. Sometimes it just feels almost scary to talk about a luxury like that you are indulging in. But honestly, one of the pieces of design advice that I got from, I think it was actually Angela, was how you need to start with a room is strip it of everything, whether you actually take everything out or you just imagine it without, and see if it is beautiful without any decoration. And if it's not, work on that first. And your money is spent way better working on that than filling it with a bunch of kitschy things, because it will always feel off. And so, I'm excited to do that. I think it's a good investment. So some of the exciting things that are happening, guys, are that I had so much fun doing my newsletter that a lot of you probably know I was toying around with the idea of starting a blog. I thought it was too much to take on, but then I just had so much fun that I just had so much fun that I thought maybe I will just go for it, because nobody's saying that I have to post a certain amount or whatever. So shout out to my husband here, who is the most supportive. And I came to him actually while he was taking a shower, and I was like, "Hey, babe, what do you think about me buying a camera and starting a blog?" And he was like, "Yep, sounds good. Let's figure it out." So we did. We figured it out. We made some sacrifices, and I actually should have brought it in here, but I got it today. My new camera is in, and I got fancy lens coming in. And because one struggle that I'm finding with YouTube is I hate editing. I hate it with a passion. And it's causing me to not do YouTube videos. This I don't have to edit, so I'm doing more of these. But there's value to the video. A video is also more difficult because my environment has to essentially be perfect in order to do it. And that is difficult when you have one 4-year-old with no other child for her to play with and no childcare, and your husband's working full time. So I was thinking that a blog might be a little simpler because my environment doesn't have to be perfect, just what's in the frame. So I'm going to still be doing YouTube, but I think the focus will actually be more on the blog. That's just the season I'm in right now. So I'll continue doing lives. I will continue doing videos, but I want to be able to do something, and sitting here with my wheels spinning because life is just not working out for us to be able to do all these great videos right now doesn't do anybody any good. I want this to be a business, and if it's going to be a business, I've got to be producing content. So that's exciting. I have camera and lens, tripod, all of that coming in. So hopefully next week, this live stream will actually be coming through. Actually, I think next week is, I might not be doing a live stream next week. Just keep an eye out, guys, because it's the day before my birthday, and actually my mother-in-law is coming into town. I invited her to party with us. So I probably won't be doing a live stream next week, but again, I should on the 9th, and then it should be on a really nice camera. So I will be working on that blog. I bought the domain, and I'll let you guys know when it's live. I have told my newsletter subscribers that I won't pester them with emails, but I might go ahead and send an email out letting people know when the blog is up. So let me think. What are some other things? Let me know if you guys have any questions. Another thing is that our pup, our livestock guardian dog, is doing great. She's born. Her name is Charlotte. We're going to name her Charlotte after Charlotte in Charlotte's Web. And just as Charlotte's job was to protect the farm, well, protect Wilbur, Charlotte's job will be to protect the farm. So we got a picture of her. She's doing great. We've actually made a special request that she gets to stay with her mom for a little longer. And amazingly, they are accommodating that, both because we're not quite ready for her. Also, I want her on mama's milk as long as we can have her on mama's milk to have that strong gut, and also to learn as much as she can from mom and dad. So it is 3:30, guys. I can stay on for a few more minutes, but if you need to hop off, feel free. Okay. Deborah, what a good piece of advice. Yes, it is. It is a really good piece of advice. Thank you, Angela. I'm pretty sure for that. Yes, and we got kittens. So that's exciting. Amidst all the intense stress, there has been a lot of joy here. So we got, you saw Harper at the beginning, and then I'll try to see if I can find Ivy. So we rescued 2 kittens. One is about 3 months, one is about 7 months, and they're just dark little tabbies, and one of them looks like she might be part Maine Coon, Ivy, and they're just fun. They're so fun. Couple reasons we got them. Everything on this farm needs to work for us in some way, even if it's just to bring joy. And the cat's job is mousers. We have seen some mouse poop through our cleaning, and I'm not going to mess with that. So I knew I wanted cats. What I want with this farm is for it to be a symbiotic relationship. So instead of just getting mouse traps that serve one purpose, I'd rather get cats who give us joy, kill the mice. They get fed by these mice, and it's just a more natural way of things. Also, I don't want tiny fingers around mouse traps. They freak me the heck out. So we will try. I haven't experienced seeing any food nibbled on or anything, luckily, but I don't want to get there, and I don't want to hear scurrying. So maybe it's all old, hopefully, but their job is to be mousers and just to provide joy. They've helped Felicity a lot. She's an only child. She's an older only child, and we used to have neighbors right next to us in apartment complexes that we're just super close to, and we don't have that anymore. So she's always been an animal lover, so my thought was bring in more little lives for her to interact with, and it has been wonderful. Felicity actually has a tiny little baby carrier, like a baby Bjorn. Actually, it is that brand. I had a mouse in my drawer at work a couple months ago. Send me a car. Debbie. I know. Send me a cat. You probably read. Oh my gosh. So they're so gross. They're so gross. They're cute in the sense of like little tiny books with little mice. It's a great idea, but yeah, it's been sweet. Felicity has her little baby Bjorn carrier and sticks Ivy in it, and Ivy just knocks out. And when Felicity has quiet reading time, then she can sit down with a cat and pet the cat. And if I need to be able to focus on dishes, which some people would say, do the dishes with your daughter, I value my relationship with her too much because that would just frustrate me. So we're not doing dishes together yet, but I'm able to say, hey, do you want to play with the cats or something while I do this? And it's been really good. So, because she can play with Mavis, our dog, a little bit differently than she can play with the kittens. So, yeah, that's exciting. Also, Scotty T, rough time frame for hubby's Uber side hustle. Okay, well, we see no end in sight with Connor being an Amish driver. That's just the way to say it. I've been trying to find people for our contractor, and people have no work ethic anymore. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. I'm just kidding, but kind of not really. One of my methods is to go through local churches when somebody needs to hire someone, or when I've looked for a mother's helper or a cleaner. Then I call local churches and I talk to pastors or women's organization leaders or whatever. And I say, do you have anybody that is responsible, has a good work ethic, you would feel is fine around your children? They don't need to even have experience in blank area. They just need to be willing to work and learn. And it has served me well, but not here. So he had an interview with somebody, and it seemed to go well, and the guy just didn't show up. And so he called the pastor, and the pastor was like, well, I don't know what's going on. He seemed like a good guy. So that's what we're dealing with, is a lot of people. Our contractor was, I didn't even realize this because my brain just doesn't even think this way, but he said that part of the issue is people will come and work for a long enough amount of time that they can then, we're getting into controversial territory here, that they can then file for unemployment. And then they have to show that they're trying to get work. So they'll go do an interview. They'll show up for work a few days, and then it just didn't work out. So then they can go get unemployment again. So that's an issue that he has found. An issue for him hiring other Amish is that doesn't solve the driver problem. So yeah, it's been kind of difficult. So for the foreseeable future, Connor will be an Amish driver. And I've looked at hiring maybe a mother's helper so I can focus on bigger tasks, because we don't have a dishwasher, for example. So, and there's electrical things that make things take longer, like my washing machine can be on at the same time as the space heater, but the dryer cannot be on at the same time as the space heater with the way the electric is up. So I have to unplug one of them. Well, it's been really cold lately, so I don't want to go without my heat. So I have to be careful about when I do things. So laundry takes longer, dishes take forever because I don't have a dishwasher, that kind of thing. And so, for example, I've had the goal of cleaning the mold off of the window frame and all the parts of the window in the bathroom that's been there since before we moved in. I've had that goal for the past 5 days, and it has not happened because just staying on top of normal life and all the little chaoses that happen has taken the time. So I've looked at hiring a mother's helper, but I'm not at the point where I'd rather spend money on a mother's helper than certain projects like getting a cow or electric fencing. So I looked at hiring an au pair, bringing somebody in from out of the country, but our house is too much of a disaster right now. So and financially we're not in a spot where we could do that yet. But that is actually one of Connor and my top goals within the next year or two, is to be able to hire somebody, a farmhand / mother's helper, maybe a young couple, and we can have a tiny house, or they can live in the basement or something where we have a young couple and they help us, because we have some pretty big plans and dreams that I haven't even talked about with the farm. So that is a goal for us. So you can pipe the dryer exhaust hose into the house to help heat it. You just have to put pantyhose or something on there so you don't get the lint dust. Ooh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Luckily, we are entering the time where it's not so cold, and so we actually might be moving into our bedrooms, moving in, because we still have to do drywall and plaster repair and such. But then we're not trying to live all of our life out of 3 rooms too. Deborah, you need a younger sister. I know. The problem with my younger sisters is they have like jobs and school and stuff. I keep trying to think of a way that I can lure somebody in. I've tried to get my younger brother, but he's not available now. So if anybody wants to work without pay, just help us all day. But I cook really good food. I would feed you really well. Piping the dryer hose into the house will increase the humidity in the house. Something to keep in mind. Yeah, true. Yeah, that's been life. It's been a lot. But Connor and I have sat down and had some discussions on ways that we can make things go more smoothly, take off some pressure. Some of those I talked with you about. And honestly, getting a cow is really high on our list because that could eliminate a significant amount of our driving. I have to drive a lot right now. Felicity's in something called myofunctional therapy to help with her tongue tie and such. And so I have to drive into Cincinnati twice a month. And I'm trying to get all my groceries done when I'm there and just trying to figure things out. Do you guys have any other questions? We're going on about 15 minutes over. I wish I could reliably take you guys outside. Oh, some of the things that have been happening. Connor, stubborn as a bull. He got a good thing. He got a huge tarp that we've had through all our moves. And he's been trying to come up with a way to take all of the small branches and brush that are piled throughout the yard and be able to move them ourselves without using neighbors' tools, so we can just knock it out. And he figured out if he piles the stuff onto the tarp and then folds the tarp over itself, ties it, and then pulls it with our car, that he can get a huge amount done. I say stubborn as a bull because yesterday it was so windy. It was scary windy, and yet he insisted on doing it, and he got a lot done. So our yard is slowly starting to look better, which is awesome. And our firewood pile is growing, and so yeah, little things. And let's do a countdown, guys, till the chickens get here. Today's the March 26th. Deborah, rent a chipper. Yes, that is definitely in the, it's definitely in our near future once we get everything. And don't worry, guys, I just blocked that person. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we're getting a bot. Yeah, we are gonna do a chipper. Are you keeping a journal of what you're accomplishing every day? No, not at all. I'm not. I keep thinking that might be a good idea. I think the blog is gonna help with that. I want some sort of a good tracker. I'm also wanting to keep a rough estimate of what we've spent, but stopping to keep track of those things stresses me out. So I think the blog will be fun though, because I get to take fun pictures and write. The chickens are going to be here in 1, 2, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. We get to pick up chickens and guinea fowl chicks. So that is exciting. So we're actually going to be working on let me see. The shed. We're working on the shed. It's got, if you see in some of our pictures, I don't know if very many would have been able to tell, but we did get a white shed with the property, and most of it's pretty good. One side pretty much halfway down, the whole side needs to be repaired. Um, so we're working on that because that's where the chicks are going to live, and that is where Charlotte is going to be trained. She'll be living just outside. We'll be making that enclosure. So we'll be working on fencing. I told my husband, please don't get me anything else for my birthday. All I want is electric fencing material. And usually with family, what they do is they send money for birthdays and such. And I've told Connor, we're not going out to eat at a nice place. We're nothing like that. It is all just going to electric fencing material. My daughter asked me today, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, electric fencing material. And she was like, but like, what do you really want? And electric fencing material. Okay. Yeah, Deborah, yes, you are. These live sessions will be a great journal. Yes. Deborah, an idea, stick all your receipts in one file folder to keep track of money spent. If you don't get a receipt, you can just jot down on a piece of paper amount and category. Yes. Actually, Connor and I were working on a budgeting app. So I think he's going to have to do more of it because it's computer based and I don't like technology. So once we get our categories well, then it'll help. Because just things like we just bought a bunch of internet cable. I don't know what it's called, cat something cable. We just bought a bunch of that because we're not going to have Wi-Fi in our house, guys. Not even in the Airbnb. Connor and I have made the decision that we want internet accessibility to be something that you have to be kind of purposeful about in our house. And I know people are going to be like, oh, not in the Airbnb, but I'll explain. So we are doing wired in internet. What's that called? Cable internet, whatever. You have to plug it in. So we get fantastic data and cell phone coverage here. Shockingly, we have like the best coverage I've ever had. Being so close to a state border like this, well, a natural border like the Ohio River. So if people just want to get on their phone, then they totally can. But we just want it to be a little bit more difficult. So we're going to do that. And so we've decided where we want to have it. So that's something that we've purchased this last week, is a huge spool of that. For our Airbnb, how we're going to handle it is there are adapters that you can buy. So we will have plenty of adapters in the Airbnb. So if somebody brings a laptop or whatever, then they can just plug that in. As far as their phone, there might be an adapter for it, but most people just have data that they can use, and they should be able to be just fine. And then the TVs will just be wired in, and we will make it known, put it on a card in the Airbnb, put it in the description, whatever, but just have it hardwiring. That's what we're hardwiring. Thanks, Mom. Versus Wi-Fi. I've just been doing some research, and this book partially is helping me with that. And we're just trying to reduce our electromagnetic frequency exposure. We're just trying to do that. Little things that we can do to help with our health and all of that. I'm actually going to be calling our energy provider and seeing if I can get our smart meter taken out and have an old, I think analog one is what it's called. Some states allow you to do that, some don't. So I'm going to have to see if Ohio lets us do that. But we're viewing this as our forever home, and we want to do things for longevity here. So okay, guys, I'm going to head off in 3 minutes. So I've talked your ear off. Thanks for being here. Let me know if you have any more questions. Wendy, this is a great time to think about and do it. Exactly. While we were doing our electric, we had talked about doing it, and then it just kind of hit us as we were doing the electric, which is what's happening right now. We're nearing the home stretch, guys. We're nearing the home stretch. We realized we got to do it now, and we got to either commit or not. So we had a really good sit-down conversation, like, are we going to commit to this? But at the same time, we try to view it as, if we decide that it's just not working for us, all we have to do is call the internet provider and say we want Wi-Fi. It's not that big of a deal. So I lived without Wi-Fi for most of my childhood, and I think it was wonderful and fine. So yeah, I do like the purpose that it's giving to us planning our home, where truly, if you look around the house, if you come, we will have public tours of the home this summer, I think, late summer, early fall. When you come in the home, everywhere you look, I'm guessing you will see that a great deal of intention went into it. Even something so small as our switch plates, even something so small as where you're getting your internet from, placement of switch plates, that kind of thing. We could have just done it the easier way and just said, like, put switch plates in all the standard locations, but we realized that was money that didn't need to be spent. And that's just not what our family lifestyle is. So there are plenty of outlets, but probably a few fewer than what a normal American house might have. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all your support. We are doing fine. We love this house. We are committed to it. We're going to keep showing up, but just as what happens with life, sometimes you just have to keep showing up even when you're not motivated. So, but we are motivated again. And as Connor says, I thought it was our contractor. I told my family, but it's actually what Connor said. Work works. So we just say that to each other. We say work works. Just do the next right thing. And don't wait for motivation. Just do it. So anyways, thank you guys so much. Let me double check. I don't think anybody asked anything. Okay. So there's no questions left unanswered. So I won't see you guys next week on the 2nd, but I will plan on seeing you guys on April 9th. I will be a new 32-year-old. And yeah, we'll see you later. Hey guys.
Hey.